So. Hello, welcome to Soul Talk podcast. And today I'm so excited because I finally have on the beautiful Zara from Keep It Bright. So today we're going to be talking about lots of different things because we've known each other for quite a long time, haven't we? And we've got lots of similarities. Zara's been like a huge inspiration in my life, and probably doesn't realise how much of a positive impact she's had on me. So yeah, I really wanted to bring her on to inspire all of you because that's what she's done for me. And so I just wanted to say hi.
Well, thank you for
We've been chatting away for hours before we even started this.
Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, it's always nice to hear that because obviously that's what I aim to do with my work. So I'm so glad that I've managed to inspire you as well. Yeah. So thank you.
So just wanted to ask you just a little bit about you.
Yeah. Introduce myself. Yeah. So my name's Zara Street. I run Keep It Bright. Keep It Bright is a positive lifestyle brand, which is basically I do all sorts of stuff from writing books and creating content online to creating products and all kind of things around basically self-love, positivity, self-care, and helping people to feel empowered, uplifted, all that good stuff. And I've been doing that for 18 years now. So yeah, I've been out here and I'm Manchester based mostly. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing my thing in lots of different ways for a while. So.
Yeah. What was sort of like the story into coming into the brands?
So for me, I found positive thinking when I was like a teenager. So when I was like 13, 14. So I was having a rough time growing up and as a teenager, really. I was having a rough time generally most of my childhood. I was raised by a single mum and grew up in some rough areas and had like a lot of family drama going on. There's a lot going on. And then I think as I became like a preteen and a teenager, it kind of all caught up with me and I was like, oh, I feel rubbish. Do you know what I mean? I just wasn't feeling great and wasn't dealing with it well. Didn't know how to cope with all these feelings I had. And obviously back then, people didn't really talk about anything like mental health like they do now. People didn't talk about depression or anxiety or even just what was going on at home. People, you had friends, but it's not like everyone talked that deeply. So I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. And there wasn't all these like quote accounts like mine now. There wasn't like all these Instagram accounts of positivity and inspiration and stuff. So I was just really kind of, didn't know what to do with myself and struggling and feeling quite like suicidal at points and just really struggling to cope with these feelings. And then luckily I made a friend online who I felt a bit more comfortable talking to. I think because obviously with that kind of barrier of like, not them knowing me properly, managed to tell them how I was feeling and stuff. And it sounds like mad because it sounds so like simple, but there wasn't really any like I'm really lucky I've got like an angel of a mum and everything, but she didn't even fully know what I was dealing with because I wouldn't talk to her about it either. So it sounds really simple, but this person basically kind of reassured me that they could see the bigger picture, right? They could see beyond what I was just feeling in this moment. And they were like, you won't always feel like this, things won't always feel this way, and just little reassuring things like that. And that gave me hope. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't had that hope before of how my life could be different or how I could feel different because I'd always felt these kind of negative feelings. So that gave me a lot of hope. And then I realised that I wanted to be that person for the people because I realised the power that I'd had because my situation didn't change, but my mindset changed, and that changed everything for me like pretty much overnight because I felt like there is hope. And I had this mission then of like, well, if this one person could create this impact on me, how many other people needed to hear the same things I needed to hear? So I was just on a mission from then to like just do that for the people and be reassuring and spread positive messages to people who might need to hear them. So those are the kind of the roots of why I wanted to do that. And then it became like that was my mission, and that was that then. And everything really kind of slowly took off from there.
Yeah. Wow, that's so young. So
that was.
Were you an artist? Like, could you sort of already draw?
Right,
stuff?
yeah. So I'd always wanted to be a fashion designer since being literally like a toddler. I was just like always drawing clothes and all this kind of stuff. And then I thought, what a great way of like spreading messages, because when we're walking around with clothing, we subconsciously read what everyone's wearing, don't like the words on people's clothing. So I thought, right, that's a great way of spreading messages and putting them out there. And it was something that was accessible to me because I've come from a background where, we didn't have money and we didn't have all, I didn't have all the things. So for me, like, I couldn't just start a business or start a brand like the way I wanted to, but I could start customizing the clothes I already had. So it was very accessible to me that I could start like embroidering designs on something, and it wouldn't only cost, you know, having a thread, it didn't cost much, so it was accessible for me to get into. And even beyond like designing clothes, I had just started like basically writing little notes and like little stickers, and I'd walk around for hours just leaving them everywhere, because I thought you never know when one person's going to find that and it's going to like be what they need to hear. So that was I was kind of doing my little activism in my own way, and you know what, that has happened so many times over the years where people have said like, oh, I found one of your cards and I've always kept it in my wallet since then, and you know, things like that. So it was just really empowering to me. Like I felt so helpless in my situation, and then all of a sudden I felt empowered, because I felt like, oh, I can make a difference. So to go from feeling helpless to like powerful was just dramatic. So and like I could make a change and I could make a difference, not only in my life but in other people's lives. It was just a big, you know, big change, and a great one. It saved my life, honestly. So yeah, I have a lot to thank to, you know, positive thinking, really.
Wow. God, it's such an incredible like turnaround. Would you say like, obviously for you, you've turned a lot of your pain into inspiration for other people. How do you sort of manage days where you may have sort of dipped and stuff a little bit, or you've needed to pick yourself up? Like if you were to advise like other people who will have been around that age, because I think from teenagers to up until you become like an adult is quite like a turbulent time.
Yes,
and then go into your next chapter of your 20s, which is also quite turbulent. But what sort of helped you manage that during that time?
So you know what, like I always say with positivity, it's not like it's a one-time thing you switch it on and you're always positive. Of course not. Like we're only human. We're going to have like days where we feel worse and days where we feel better, and situations where we feel worse and better. And yeah, I think it's just all about the daily practices that you do, and it's you know, you build habits. So even things like the self-esteem and like body confidence and stuff, it's like it's not something that just happens overnight, and I think you have to give yourself grace to like understand that it's going to take time to change the way you think already. But things like affirmations, like doing stuff every day in little ways is how you get there. It's not like it's just like, right, you can just do it all in one day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So even for me now, like things like doing affirmations first thing when I wake up, doing like positive affirmations and just like setting that mood for the day, like always makes me feel better. Or even depending what you believe, like doing something like having a prayer, or like, you know, just speaking to the universe, or just things like that. And also something that's helped me a lot is just writing my feelings out, talking my feelings out. I know I need a good rant. If I need to rant, I just need to speak it out and rant about it. So for me, like just being able to like get things off my chest, and that really helps when I'm stressed. Writing out, you know, I'll write in my journal every single night and things like that. So having those little tiny habits, it's nothing like massive, it's little 5-minute things, it's little 10-minute things, but it adds up to a life that kind of help. Well, it just helps you to cope better, and like having coping mechanisms and having just like outlets for your energy is like what's helped me so much. And self-care, like massively. So that's something I didn't always do a lot of. It wasn't something that was like part of my life. And then in the past like 7-8 years, after I had like kind of stress related stuff, like health issues and stuff, then I was like, right, I need to slow down a bit here. And it's been amazing. Like it's just so much better making time for yourself. And you know, I feel like as much as self-care is on the rise and talking about self-care and everything, but I feel like people do still feel like you need to like be burnt out to then look after yourself, or already be in such a bad place, where it's like actually prevention's better than cure. Like if you can do a little bit every day, a little bit every week, you won't get to that bad stage. So it's like,
and we're all suckers for that, where we've let ourselves get
of course
before we'll do anything.
Of course. So it's and it's like, I think there's still that hustle culture thing of like, I have to do everything. And we're, you know, especially self-employed people, we've all obviously, you know, you have to do a lot and all of that. But I think, there's so much like beauty in like just looking after yourself and prioritizing yourself amongst all of that. Because if you don't look after you, you can't do you to the fullest either. So it's oh, it's gone dark.
It has gone really dark. We need to get the sun back.
But yeah, so I think just implementing self-care has been really, really helpful. And my life has felt different the past like 6-7 years when I've had more of a routine. Because I used to like those points, and I don't recommend it, where I used to, you know, just to get through certain situations, I'd work from like waking up to sleep and literally like, you know, fall asleep doing some work. And it's like, it's as much as now as I do give as much as I can, I really don't work myself to the bone because it's not sustainable. It's not, you're not creating your best when you're doing that either. So it's just like having more of a routine. And like when I started living with my now husband, he has a normal 9 to 5. So I was just kind of intrigued by like, oh, right. So at the end of the day, he just lets himself chill. And I didn't have that. I used to just work right until I was falling asleep. So I still work in the evenings and stuff now. But I don't feel like I have to be doing the most. I feel like, oh, downtime is really good for me. Downtime refills my cup. Downtime helps me be more creative. So I'm much more likely to just like allow myself to chill now, and it feels better. And I think it's all about finding those things that feel good and just incorporating them more because it's just good for you all around, isn't it?
Yeah. Just coming away from the brand itself, I just wanted to speak about obviously the face of the brand, which is you. How were sort of the initial reaction to you being do you consider yourself Muslim, Pakistani?
So I'm Pakistani, British Pakistani, and I religious wise I don't actually ever really say a set religion. Like I believe in like so I was raised by a Muslim mom, and obviously like she's shared a lot about the religion without really enforcing it. She shared a lot about it, and like she is a practicing Muslim and everything. But for me, I was raised kind of Muslim and spiritual, so I've always been like open to like both. Yeah, exactly. And so I believe in like God, but I'm not really, I wouldn't say I practice any like things of Islam personally. But I do have like my own way of doing like prayer to like, speaking to like, but then I also believe in like just, I don't know, it's not like a specific thing. And I think one thing about me with religion, and because I actually often get people asking me stuff like this just from what I post. And it's like, I don't know, like I don't feel the need for things to be like that quantified and like
it has to be specific.
And I think people
do you believe something's there?
Yeah, this is what I mean. So I do believe in like I do believe in like a God or like a universe, like the universe and all this kind of stuff. But I really just for some reason I just don't care about it being like this specific one or that one or not that one or whatever. I'm just open to like higher power stuff, but I don't feel the need to like label it. And it's not because I don't, for example, with being raised Muslim, it's not because I don't like agree with some of the stuff of that. I just, again, like I feel like if you're committing to that, then like my mum is a Muslim. She does, she does prayers from certain things. She'll read certain things. Whereas like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a personal thing to me. And like me believing whatever is like enough for me. I don't feel like I need to like follow certain practices or certain things for any religion really. So I'm just kind of like
your own path.
Yeah, kind of. And I just feel like it is quite like, I feel like it's all the same in a way. Like there's like a lot of religions obviously, but it's all kind of the same thing. So it's like for me it's like more about like having like morals and like a moral compass and all of that stuff. But I'm not really asked about labeling it for anybody else because it's a personal thing. So like I'm happy to talk about it, but it's not it's not something I like can really put into words because it's just like
as a Pakistani woman then, being the face of Keep It Bright, have you had any challenges in being sort of the face of your business and sort of forging a pathway of positive things? Because they're all positive things and some of them are very statements and out there. I have been a customer of Zara's for years. I don't know if it's been the whole 18 years actually.
A long time though.
I get heads turning with some of the things, in particular the mission statement of the no racism. And we'll add that into this video so you guys can have a look at it. Every time I wear that t-shirt, it's either a good reaction or it's very shocked.
Yeah,
and it's really, I get very interesting reactions when I walk around in public in that top.
Oh, really?
I will not wear it. I have it actually hung up in my dance studio.
Oh, brilliant.
And some people come in and go, oh. And some people come in and go, I love that. Like, you know what this studio is about from the get-go.
So, you're right. So, you know what? I've always just... So, a lot of my statements will be things like... So, as much as some of my clothing is just fun and colourful and all of that and positive messages, I just care about, like, humans and humanity. And, like, I guess that's why that kind of activism side of some of the messaging. So, I've always had, like, stuff like Be the Change and all that kind of stuff. And I think I don't know, I've just always cared about people. Like I genuinely do care about people and like humanity in that way. So for me, it doesn't seem profound. But then, when you get people opposing it, and you're like,
you know, I think specifically,
like homophobia, for example,
our culture, where homophobia isn't spoken about a lot in Pakistani culture at all. It's a very taboo subject in general. Even more taboo, I would say, in a culture like ours. What have sort of you ever had any reactions?
So I have, and you know what? It is especially the homophobia part, and it's like it is always from religious people, and it's whether it's not even always Muslim. It's like even Christians don't, not all Christians agree with all of that. So it's like, it's weird because to me that's just. I don't know. I've always just grown up and thought that was just part of life. And I have an uncle who's he's Muslim and he's Asian and he's Pakistani like me, and he's gay. And I've always grown up knowing he was gay. It's just part of my, like, it was just normal. It was just something I understood and it was just normal. So I'm not saying everyone in the family reacts that way or whatever, but I mean, to me, it's just been part of life. And it's like, oh, right, this is just how some people, are. And this is how, it's just how some people feel and stuff. So for me, it was just such a normal thing. And then, I have had people who've been like, oh, can you do the top, but can you do it without the homophobia bit? And I'm like, well, no, So multiple times, like random customers have messaged me or it's like, kind of anti vibes of people being like, oh, like, kind of looking a bit like.
Your reaction to messages like that?
I mean,
do you sort of stand by?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I do. Because I really mean it. Like, I mean it. And I really like, I don't know if you saw, I had an absolute rant yesterday on Instagram about, there's like legislation going on, changed yesterday to do with like trans people and non-binary people and all of this stuff. And I just really, like, I really am here for like just everyone exists and is allowed to exist as they are. And it's like, it's really like, saddening and upsetting to see like minorities and people who already face so much discrimination then having like legal things again. It's just, it feels really like it's going backwards and stuff like that. But for me, I fully just believe it. So I would never change something to make those people more comfortable. I'm not gonna make racists and homophobes like more comfortable. Like there's enough of that in the world. I don't need, you know what I mean? So and as a brown person myself, obviously even just racism, affects me. As a woman, misogyny and sexism affects me. So these are all things that I really believe in and back. So but there is people who definitely are like, oh, well, I'd wear it if it didn't have that. And it's like, well, okay. I mean, like, don't wear it then if you don't want to wear it. Yeah, it doesn't make me want to change anything at all. So So I'm definitely about inclusivity in that sense. Like I really do, people are people to me, and that's that. So, yeah.
You've had a lot of celebrities who have represented Keep It Bright. It's been amazing to have someone like yourself who's from the north, from Manchester, who started all this at home. Do you know what I mean? From turning their grit into grace. How did it feel? Like, who was the first person to represent your stuff, and how has it felt to have? And it's quite numerous people. I mean, off the top of my head, I can remember Ed Sheeran, Ariana Grande, Alicia Keys.
Yeah, and Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, was a big one. Yeah. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Just through that journey, 'cause that.
Yeah.
I mean, Zara is literally the most down to earth. Like, you wouldn't know unless you actually ask her or you see, a picture and stuff of it. But talk us through that, because that's major.
Yeah, so
it's absolutely crazy.
No, it is crazy. Sometimes I have to think like, whoa, that is mad.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like at the time, it all felt just right. Like, and I know that I don't mean that in like a big-headed way or anything, because it's not like, oh, my designs were the best then or anything like that. It was just, it's because of the messages. So I know especially for Miley and Ariana, like it's the messages that drew them to it and the authenticity of it. Because now there is loads of brands that do positive messages, but like I've been out here doing it since before it was cool, like a long time, like, and definitely before it was mainstream like it is now. So and when it comes to celebrities, as much as obviously very flattering, because for me as well, all the celebrities who've ever worn it, it's just off their own back. It's not because I paid them to, because a lot of brands pay people to wear stuff, and it's never done that. So it's all because they want to, which is great. But it just reminds me again of that human element of like, no matter how rich, famous you are, talented, beautiful, whatever, everyone struggles with the mental health. Everyone needs positivity. Everyone kind of, has those same challenges in a way, and celebrities have even more because of everything and being in the public, right? So it kind of just reminds me of the humanity of those people and how like they obviously needed those messages, or they felt they could express themselves and their hearts through wearing my stuff, which is really cool as well. So it's been really great to see, but it's also felt right because of that. And it and I like it because it shows other people that like not just that celebrities back it, but that they also want to say those same things and put those, because for example, that t-shirt, the designer you were talking about, the stand-up one with the no racism, like Miley wore that one, and that's very much what she believes in and stuff. And then Ariana wore the Radiate Love, which is like, again, very much her, and like, you know, she was always doing that. Yeah, she's always doing that in her character as well. So it's like, it's nice to see them be able to like express themselves through clothing, which is what a lot of it
they
is,
actually feel like what it says on that top is them.
Yeah, exactly.
What they would like
and a lot of that's what a lot of my clothing obviously is about putting messages out there for yourself, but also for other people in the world around you. So yeah, it's been really nice to see it backed in that way, and they all came about in obviously such different ways. So Miley, one of my friends is an artist, and she always says she got the confidence to like do Keep It Bright through to do her art through what I did with Keep It Bright and stuff. So when Miley actually bought some of her art, and then when she bought it, she sent her one of my little Keep It Bright handbooks, my old book, with it. She sent it as a gift to her with it. And then I woke up one day and she'd followed me on Instagram. She'd posted like 4 pages of my book. And then we just started talking and got in touch. And that's how she ended up wearing over 70 items of my clothing in public in the end, which is loads, like, to just be wearing.
Well, you know, I'd say there was lots of messages there that
yeah,
other people as well.
And I think the style of it as well, like, it's, you know, some of my stuff's quite low key, like for example what I'm wearing, on the top half here, but a lot of it is quite like one of a kind or statement kind of pieces, and people like to express themselves in those ways, or feel good in what they're wearing, which is something that I aim for with like my more fun pieces, like even the jumper you're wearing. I always
love this one.
That's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites, and like this always feels good when I wear it. So it's like about that dopamine, like let's call it now dopamine dressing, but like giving yourself feel good clothing. You feel good when you wear it.
It's true though, because it's a symbol of you and how you feel. I feel like if you dress sort of how you feel, that's what you sort of put out to the world a little bit. It's like, me, I'm going for a bright colour.
Yeah, you were saying you sometimes wear neutrals, but you feel good. I just feel so much more radiant myself when I'm wearing bright colours.
Yeah,
so
like I'm going to walk down the street with more confidence if I've got something like this on.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I feel like in my neutral dark colours, I'm sort of that's the day I'm sort of hiding away. But no, we used to just walk with a bit
main
more
characters
out
here.
That's it, main character energy. What, and this will be a hard question, what is your favourite Keep It Bright design?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think if I was to go,
there's one that's like you go to.
Well, my favourite actually, like I was going to wear this jumper today. So this one, I put it on and then I changed it, and it's probably good because it would have looked like we'd literally decided to both wear the same jumper. But that's one of my favourites, and I don't know if it's the colour or the fact there's so many different things in one, which I love.
Pink and red used to be a thing that you didn't do, but it works so.
Yeah, well, I'm a pink and orange girl. I love pink and orange. That's like my favourite. But like, pink and red is on clothing is like great. But I do love that one. That's my favourite. Like, if I was picking one item, I think that's that jumper. I just love it. But then I also love I also do like hand embellished pieces, or like the denim jackets, which are a lot more like out there. So you kind of statement.
Show them.
Of course.
This I've been staring at all the clothes.
That one at the back is that's mine. So that's my own jacket. That's
So guys, look at this. It's got to Keep It Bright on the back. And then just talk us through.
This is my baby.
Like, how you've done it.
Well, this is my baby. So this has like all of my own patch collection and badges and stuff. But I just love one of a kind stuff like this. Like, this is perfect for like a festival. I love making things like this because they're just fun, aren't they?
It screams.
It's fun, and it's
character energy. And just so much confidence in it.
Thank you. But I love wearing stuff like this. I have worn this a few times, festivals and stuff, and it's perfect because even if you're wearing just plain black under it, it don't even matter. It is the outfit. It's the outfit.
That is, but honestly, yes, it's beautiful.
So I love creating fun things like that. That not everyone would wear.
So satisfying once you've actually finished it.
Yeah, and it's not something everyone would wear, but it's not. It doesn't have to be for everyone, so it's fine. But but I enjoy creating things like that because they just bring my eyes joy. You know what I mean? Even like the jumper, like the colours make me happy. So it's about that joy of like creating something that you like and that other people will find joy in as well. So
that's it. I feel like all my pieces from you have been like my colourful, bright, just happy.
Yeah.
Happy out.
And it's often like even not jumpers, but it's stuff people wear on holiday often, or when they're traveling, and it's like it's nice that like they, you know, clothing has those memories attached to it as well. So yeah, I love getting messages when people, even yesterday someone was like, oh, you know, I'm working but I'm wearing my new jumper and I feel really good, and like it's the energy attached to the messages and the colours. So yeah, me too.
So I know you've probably got like lots of plans going forward because you are always doing new creations and, you know, new messages. What sort of the scope for the next, like, so is it 10 years?
Oh,
like,
gosh.
What would you love to have achieved in sort of 10 years?
Oh, wow. Like, so I was saying to you earlier, I'm not really that much of a forward planner. I just kind of go with it because I think what we want changes, how we do things changes. But at the moment, I'm just trying to focus a bit more on like doing more like public speaking, which I have done quite a bit of in the past few years. But like, I want to just maybe think of something where I'm like doing just more of that more often and connecting with people in that way, and also doing like some workshops for like women's empowerment. So I'm doing my first one. Like when this airs, probably will have done it, but I'm really excited to do more of those in different cities. And just, I love in-person connection stuff. So I'm really excited to do more of that. On the brand side of it, I don't know, I'm enjoying just creating useful things. So as much as I do the clothing, like things that are my favourite things are like the little page a day affirmation things. I love stuff like that. You know what, I'll grab one.
I have a Keep It Bright diary.
Oh yeah, the Keep It Bright.
Yes. The Keep It Bright diary, it's great because it's dateless.
Yes.
Which is great. Like,
well, it didn't used to be, did it? And then like
it didn't used to be, but it's good because you can start it whenever you want. Because we all sort of come into work in January at different times, so it's great because I'll start it when I actually open up the business rather than the beginning of the year.
And not wasting pages.
But then it has, and this is my favourite bit about it, like I make time to sit down and do this and look forward to doing it. There's sort of a page at the beginning of every month where you sort of write what you've achieved in the last month, sort of your goals for the next month, and honestly, I look back at those at the end of the year.
Oh, brilliant.
And I look back through each month and see how like things have changed or what I was feeling at a certain time. And they're just little messages at the end of the week.
Oh yeah, every week there's like a message.
And they always seem to be so relevant for what I'm going through that week as well. As I'll read it and go, oh, I needed like to hear that. But honestly, there's just so much in that diary itself. I couldn't just have a normal book standard diary anymore. It has to be that
I love
one.
The diary. So I actually use two every day. So I use one for like work. I use one to record like work progress, like a goal, like moving forward progress, and actually take time to celebrate. Like, you know, we have to-do lists, don't we? But then it's nice to stop and actually bullet point. Yes, I bullet point all the forward steps I took that day. It could just be the 2 Instagram posts or like, you know,
like a journal shot.
So I use one just for work, and then every month I do my work goals and that, and then I have a personal one where I record like what I did every day. So so I use to, and the same every single month. I look forward to do my beginning of the month and like looking back at last month, and it is like, I think that's the thing, little practices like that, it doesn't take long, but like it changes your mindset, it gets you refocused, like. And then this is one of my favorite little, so it's like just an affirmations thing where you could flip over each thing, but things like this, I just like love creating tools like the diary and like things like this that people can actually implement every day. Do you know what I mean? So it's like things that help me, but actually making them cute and stuff, so people then want to have it on their desk. And like, I love that people who don't even maybe always use affirmations or like message me like, oh, this has been keeping me really positive at work or whatever. So creating like positivity tools, as I call them, like diaries and things like this. I love doing stuff like that.
Steps, isn't it? Like you said,
words have power.
Is something that exactly that. You know, and I think our mindset and the words we tell ourselves, like, and it's becoming more apparent and more aware now. Whereas I felt like growing up, we didn't really have.
No, we didn't.
This didn't exist. It's
and
like if you felt a certain way, you just forgot about it, put it under the carpet, and then you just
which isn't healthy, obviously.
Which isn't healthy, you know? And now we have so many tools, and you know, we've come to know that our mindset really matters because we're living out everything we think. So, you know, having positive tools like this is one step towards, you know, a healthier mindset, actually bringing into your life what you actually want.
Exactly. And like I was saying, when that happened for me as a teenager, that was one of the big lessons, was that, oh, words have so much power. Like, it's not that my situation changed straight away, but my mindset changed, and the words I was telling myself changed, how I spoke to myself changed, and that changed everything. Because I made a promise to myself when I was like 15 to just like never do anything that would be self-destructive again, or like that would harm me, and instead to just be my own best friend and put love into myself and care into myself. And I've kept that promise, and that's, that itself has changed my life. So yeah, and it's to do with like positive self-talk and talking to yourself nicely, like being a cheerleader for yourself instead of living with a bully. You know what I mean? Because if we're the only person we've got for all of our lives there every single day, and it's like, if that voice in your head is being nasty to yourself and you're just having a bully every day, you're not going to feel good. So I'm very much my own biggest type person and cheerleader, and I believe in myself even when other people don't believe in me, and it's like, that's enough. Like, you don't need everyone to, you know what I mean? Like, if you believe in yourself, you'll give yourself such a better shot at life and at doing stuff and at just going for it. And that's the kind of stuff that works for me, and that I try to, put out there for the people as well. So, because I really care about even like all the customers I follow, I really care about everyone, and I check in with them, and like it's very real for me that that's my community, and like, that's precious to me that people be, some people like yourself who've been there for ages, like are people who are like, gosh, you've been in my life for so long, and like, we might never have met them even in person, but I've like helped them through stuff, or we just literally will talk stuff through every time they're having a bit of a, and I'm not like a therapist or anything like that, but I mean, sometimes you just need somebody else to reassure you, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I've hopefully been doing for all this time. So
and that's why we're sort of sat here today, is you did exactly that for me, and it, like you said, with these steps of like positivity tools, in you doing that has itself been a positive tool to keep people sort of on track, or just know that you're not alone. And I think ultimately that's what people are looking for, is to just not feel like they're alone in this, and that you have somebody there, just like someone was there for you. Exactly. So going back to sort of, when you was going through this sort of turbulent time, and then you found sort of your way out of it, I just wanted to sort of give some sort of like practicality and like more narrow down the tools a little bit of people who, and I've had people on the podcast before, or I've spoken to people before who, although you sort of can give them the tools and stuff, and it is down to that person to then put them in place, what would sort of give you a nudge on that day where you just didn't think you were deserving of like taking the steps towards those tools? Because that's ultimately sort of what you have to try and find in yourself, to make those steps then for yourself. Like when it came down to it, what sort of things did you either like think or try and help yourself feel to give you those first sort of steps out of it?
So for me, like, I think something that really helps is things like books. So self-help books is really good, because even if, so back then for me, there wasn't this, like, obviously so many good ones now,
like
there's loads, and there really wasn't like that kind of, and that's why I really wanted to do it, because I wanted to, that's why I started writing the books actually, because I was writing little ones for myself, and I was like, oh, there isn't anything where it's like by my peers, for my, my age and stuff, so that's why I started doing books. But I think books are great because the way you can get lost in a book, the same way it's easy to follow what someone else is kind of saying. So I think if you need somewhere to start, like a book is always good, like any kind of self-help type book you feel called to reading. And that's good because you don't have to think the thoughts yourself, you can just read them and take them in that way. And I think also just following, for nowadays practical advice, just following more accounts that are positive and that have quotes and things like that, because we really do take in so much every day nowadays, and not all of it is like good stuff. Not all of it is stuff that makes us feel good. So I'd say just following more positive type accounts. If you don't follow me, obviously follow me, because I've posted on Instagram every single day for like 13 years. So I show up and like, we'll always have that kind of stuff. But just being kind of aware of what you're taking in and what makes you feel good and what doesn't. And then just writing as well. Like I said, for me, journaling, writing out my feelings, it doesn't have to be like a positive thing. You can write out when you're feeling rubbish. A lot of the time, if I'm overwhelmed or stressed, is when I write, because it helps you to like just detangle those thoughts a bit. And I think overwhelmedness is like one of the things a lot of people struggle with, because things just get so tangled, don't they? And it's like, I think either talking it out or writing it out helps to detangle the mess and help you to kind of deal with each issue, or at least acknowledge which, all that there's separate things, instead of it just being like, I feel rubbish. So normally there's a lot more to that than just one thing. And talking for me, like, luckily I love talking to people. So for me, like ranting it out, talking it out with someone is like my number one, just easy go to. You can just do every day if you've got, someone you're comfortable talking to. But yeah, it's just little things. It's not like there's like a big dramatic thing. I think it is just these little things. And even with like positive self-talk, challenging, just start, obviously again, it's not a switch. You're not going to always talk to yourself nicely, but you can start challenging the negative thoughts and talking to yourself like you would someone you love, or someone that, you know, you would never dream of speaking to in a horrible way, and just kind of talking to yourself in that way, and fake it till you make it, you know what I mean? Like, just keep telling yourself, like, in the mirror that you look good and compliment yourself, and then you will start to, the negative voice gets smaller. And that really worked for me, because I really used to struggle with body image and stuff, like most of the women of the 90s and the 2000s, like we've all struggled with that, growing up with that. But again, it's like unlearning and retraining your brain to think in a different way, and now it's just second nature to me. So it's these little things, it's just a lot of little things that you can do. But I think by deciding to like just be your own best friend, that was a big thing for me. It was just like, I'm only going to be good to myself. Like, life will be hard, but I'm not going to make it harder for myself. And that was a really key change, because you know, life can be tough. It's not like it just will ever be perfect. But realizing that, like, I can change my experience in life a lot, just based off how I treat myself, how much confidence I let myself have, how much I let myself go for things and be brave and not talk to myself nastily, like, or treat myself badly. That was the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing.
Like, I've just recently, I'm just in the middle of reading this book, and it was talking about how, like, imagine the thoughts that you have in your mind, that being an actual person who was just sat here like we are now, and they were just talking away with the thoughts that you were giving them. Like, would you want to have that person in company of you?
Brilliant,
like, you know, teaching your mind to speak the words that you would have in your own company, you know.
That's a great way of,
like, I was like listening to sort of a mind chatter and was like, wow, if this was a person sat down, I'd have kicked you out like ages ago.
No, that's a great
you know,
analogy.
And about sort of moving that and seeing it as like, you know, a separate entity, because it is in some ways, you know, our thoughts are sort of drove by a lot of fear and ego and stuff, and
insecurity, and
you know, and a lot of the time it's like, is it actually true? Is what you're saying to yourself true?
Exactly,
you know?
And often it's not. It's just like, either you've been taught that, or you've picked it up somewhere, or you've heard it. And you know, we're not born not liking ourselves, and we're not born flawed, or I think, like, we're born worthy, and we are worthy. I think we kind of, like, things chip at our confidence, and people chip at our confidence, and all of this, and we hear things, and how, you know, for a lot of us, it's the way our mums speak to themselves. It might be the way, you know, your dad spoke to somebody. It's like, it's little passed down things, and sometimes people don't even realize how badly they speak to themselves or about themselves. And I think I find it harsh sometimes when I'm around with people who still say like negative things about themselves, and I'm like, because I just do not do that. Like, it doesn't mean, oh, I think I'm perfect, but I just don't speak to myself in that way.
Sort of the more you can
it's really jarring to hear. Like, it's horrible. It's actually horrible when you hear like lovely people say these things, but you're like, oh my gosh, like, what? And they're just so used to talking to themselves in that way, and it's like, it's really sad. Like, it's sad to see like beautiful people you love thinking such negative things about themselves. And it's like, the only difference is just, for me, between me and them, is like that I've like had, you know, I've really tried to work on talking to myself nicely, and it's possible for anyone, because I was that same person who used to really beat myself up about physical things. So it is possible. It's hard, but it's possible, and it just takes daily challenging it, and soon the positive voice gets stronger, and the negative voice gets smaller.
That's it. And it does take
it takes time.
I think naturally, I think it's hard to say this after you've sort of done the work and trained your mind to be positive, but looking it back at, you know, a place where we would have been one day, it's natural actually to be negative. We actually fall into that very easily.
And about life as well.
And, you know,
and about life.
That's
like more natural.
More people are going to speak to you about a negative situation. That's what we sort of ranted and raved about more than positive. You know, and now we're seeing like positive talking's becoming more of the norm, and it's training your mind.
It's nice.
For that to be the norm.
And
you know?
and
so it's nice that someone like yourself would positively, like, almost like not correct someone, but help someone be aware.
And I'm not like I'm not like harsh about it, but I am just like shocked sometimes to hear, you know, people you think wouldn't be insecure about something, and they are, and it's just shows that everyone can feel like that. And even the person you might pedestal as being like the perfect thing, they might not like something about themselves, and it's like, it's sad, but it's also just quite human, isn't it? Obviously. So yeah, and then also another little practice, which is in the diary as well. I do like a daily gratitude. So every day, even if some days it's harder to find something, you know, not like overall general things, but I try to put different things every day. I don't want to just put in like my house or whatever, or my health every single day. I try to think of things from the day. So just looking for that daily gratitude helps you find it more, and looking for the positives helps you find them more as well. And just gratitude, you know, is a game changer. It really helps you reframe your life and what you have, and it makes what you have enough as well, which I love. Like, it's like, if, for example, I love my house. If I just appreciate my house for what it is and compare it up to like the other things that I've had that weren't as good, then I feel like this is a dream space. I love it. Whereas if I was thinking, oh, it could be bigger, it could be nicer, it could be, you know, double the size, it could be all of this, then obviously I'm going to feel like what I've got is not enough. So yes, dream big, but also I think appreciating what you have makes your life feel richer and fuller. And that's been a big thing for me. It's just like, just trying to gratitude, you know, helps keep you like grounded in like what you've got, I think. So there
was one particular question I wanted to ask you today, and I feel like it's something sort of we both do, because we sort of openly share our voices, and in Pakistani culture it's not really something, I think we're seeing it a little bit more now, but definitely when we were growing up, like, I don't know about you, but I always felt like I sort of had to zip any sort of opinions that I had, and you know, there was sort of anything you had to say was sort of shoved away. And I feel like a lot of women in our culture have been through this, and probably are still going through this. Like, it's breaking through, but it's slowly. It's slow. You know, and what I would really like to get a message across in this podcast today is like helping, in particular, that collective break through that fear and have the courage to use their voice. What sort of advice would you give to people like that who right now may feel like they can't even really speak, they're just shut down all the time, they can't voice actually what they really want in life, you know, and live in a very sort of dark environment where, you know, what they think really doesn't matter, they're just constantly told what to do. And I think it's quite important, because it's rare to see someone like yourself, in my opinion, from the journey and experience I've had, it's rare to see someone like yourself who is very comfortably able to be herself, but not only be herself, but be able to share that with other people, because I feel like, you know, speak to us about the women empowerment there as well, because I think in particular it isn't just for females. I know males out there who are also going through the same thing of not being able to be themselves.
No, but in the culture, it definitely, in like Asian culture,
shut down, and you know, your life is led by a lot of other people. And I would really like to try and inspire more people to really be able to share ultimately what gifts they've got, and, you know, and be able to do that. And it is such a shame to see so many people who probably have all these beautiful natural gifts and not be able to do things with them,
or feel like them being themselves or anything. So like, that's a really interesting point. So we didn't even go through any of these questions. So that if I'm taking a minute, I'm like, oh, this is a really good question. We haven't, because we wanted to
we just wanted to keep it off.
So, no, but that's really, you know, what's kind of
so I don't know, you know, when you get in
that's interesting. Journey, no, because I don't really think like that.
Forget, and it's not until somebody says to me, you don't realise like what we see sometimes. And you know, it can be the outside, but you know, we're just getting on with what we're doing.
No, when you saying that has made me realise, I guess, how,
because a whole of a group of people being inspired and impacted here, you know.
No, but I hadn't, like, until you've asked me that, really, I've not really thought about it in that way of like, actually, it is quite rare at, like, in our generation, especially for, and I hadn't really thought about it, which sounds silly because I'm just living it, obviously, but you're right. I mean,
so the best way I would like to say is like, maybe try and put yourself in like the shoes of someone who.
No, I get you, because I get it. I totally get it. I just hadn't thought about
what could we say to them to help them. And I think ultimately it comes down to fear.
Yes,
fear
of course.
Of speaking up, fear of doing actually truly what you want because of what other people might think. You know?
And you know, and it's difficult because obviously everyone's family situation is different. So, you know, as much as I can advise some things, like I know not everyone's going to be able to safely do that or comfortably do that. Like for me, I cut a parent out of my life when I was like 12, which is very like unheard of in our culture and stuff. But I was able to do that because thankfully my parents were already divorced and things, which, you know, on my mum's part took a big that's a big brave step for like an Asian woman again to be taken, which is again not in the culture. So I think my mum's kind of like fierceness in that situation, she's a very soft, sweet angel of a person, but that move shows courage. And I think that's always really inspired me, because it is hard to be a divorced, like, you know, something middle-aged, like, you know, Asian woman, and that's not something that she wasn't middle-aged on, but I mean, you know what I mean, it's not the norm, and it's not something that's accepted. So I think her kind of already doing that for me was like a big, you know, kind of show of boundaries and a show of like, no, we're not tolerating that. So yes, I'm really fortunate that my mum found her strength to do that, and which was like kind of out of character for her as well, but I'm really grateful. I think that has always set a really good example for me, because I saw that as like we don't have to tolerate. And I think now actually thinking about it, that's probably why I was like, well, I don't want to see my dad, you know what I mean? So I think I found that courage from her finding her courage. I think other, you know, women inspire other women, don't they? And people inspire people, like empower people and empower people.
Because you don't know. I think in this sort of culture, I'm trying to word this in a way where it'll make sense and it's right. You don't know unless it's been told to you.
Yeah,
you know, when you live in a very close,
like oppressive,
and it's oppressive, and you're not told it's actually okay to do these things. You wouldn't know up until you see somebody else do it,
exactly.
And that person sort of sparks in you, like, oh, okay, so living like this is normal, because it is crazy, and we've both been through this before, where it becomes so normal. You don't know otherwise. You know?
And I think what's good for the generation watching this and listening to this, and, you know, people younger than us, is that like we didn't have British Asian role models. Like, I don't know about you, there was nobody on telly, there was nobody like nowadays. I always say this when I go into the schools and talk to kids as well, like they have so many possible role models.
Well, actually, my auntie is an actress.
Oh, is she?
So she was like sort of
that was
like
your inspo,
the pioneer of, and she is known for being one of the first.
Oh, amazing!
Sort of, like,
right,
Pakistani women, and she still does.
Oh, that's
stuff
so
now.
cool.
Like,
right. Oh, I didn't know
she's
that.
She's doing Shirley Valentine at the moment, actually.
Brilliant.
Over in Leeds. So she was always sort of that pioneer, you know. And
so that was your kind of inspiration.
The other day, you know, I don't think we say it enough as a family, but you don't realise how much you've just had a knock-on effect of inspiration.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You know, but she had a battle herself of doing that. You know, she had to come away from it to be everything that she is now. But
so I guess for us it was more like in real life inspiration, but I think what I mean is like we didn't have in the media like young British Asian girls, like Asian girls
had a consequence or something
and it just wasn't the norm. Whereas now you go on YouTube, you can find someone who has a story like yours, you can, you know, go on Instagram, find people to relate to, and it's like I think that nowadays, like, just following people like you and me, people who have broken the thing, like that kind of thing.
Do you think there's many
other people who are?
I
mean, there must
do you feel like it's grown more?
I feel like people share the stories more, and a lot of the problems I feel like in the past is that there wasn't, you know, like people sharing the stories in this way, because before the internet and before social media and all of that, people would only talk to people. It's not like they were out there putting, unless you were an author or you were something like that, like nowadays everyone can put the business out there, and it's quite more normalized. So I think it's just such a different time to grow up in now, but in a good way, like in a good way, that there is so many more relatable role models, so many people you can look to for inspiration, whether they are your culture or not, but like even just like the backstories of like growing up in a similar way, or maybe they had a parent like yours or whatever. So I think much easier now. And for me, I think I have to credit my mum for like, just I think it must have been that, because and also I'm an Aries, so I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna do what I want anyway. So I feel like, but my mum definitely built like good self-esteem in me, which I'm so grateful for. Like I said, even as a teen, I battled with that in myself, with like body image and stuff. But mentally, I think I've always just felt like, why not? Like, I don't have anything to lose. For me, I didn't really have, so we grew up with like not a lot, like financially and things like that. So I felt like I didn't have anything to lose by taking a risk. Whereas some people do have things to lose. And I'm lucky my mum is, you know, nowadays she's always very keen, right? She's a big supporter of what I do. But doing something in my life would have looked very different if my dad was in it. So this is why, you know, it feels a bit not unfair to speak on it, but like, I mean, some people, if my dad had been in my life, I don't think it would have been very different, and it would have been a lot harder. I think I'm just lucky, thankful for the strength of her, you know, doing something difficult and having a divorce and all of that, and us kind of getting through that. And that obviously clearly gave me so much more freedom to be myself. And my mum recognises that and knows that, like, you know, that's what that sacrifice was for, really. And it's obviously paid off in the fact that, you know, I feel very free to kind of express myself. But I know not everybody has that kind of environment, but I'd say until you're kind of safely able to do so, then like, well, you know, you're still going to be you inside, right? So kind of when you can be out of that environment, then definitely be out of that environment, and you'll thrive in it. But yeah, just take care of yourself through it, because it can be very like oppressive and stuff. And
I do think you're right with the sort of the positive tools and the mindset, you know, even if you are feeling like you're sort of in an oppressive environment, an environment ultimately you would like to come out of, you know, a lot of what Zara has created will really help you with those footsteps of creating a better mindset for yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can work on your mindset even when your surroundings are rubbish, basically, which is good. So yeah, I think just looking after yourself and mentally, like, remind yourself you'll get through it. And also, I mean, I know it's hard when you live with people who might be making it difficult for you, but also one of the, like, I think my best traits is that I don't really care what the people think of me. And I know, not in a rude or harsh way or anything, but I do value my own opinion, and I give myself validation. So I'm not always looking for it from other people. Like, you don't need to have everyone's approval. You don't need to have everyone's permission. Like, I don't really seek.
It's okay to not be pleasing
and you are never going to please everyone. And I think that's one of the things in life, once you learn, like, you cannot please everyone. You can't win all the time with things like that. That you just feel free. Like, it's so freeing to just think, well, I can do stuff. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. And I think a lot of in Asian culture as well, it's the fear of judgment. And of course, I'm sure there's people out there who, you know, in my family or extended families or whatever, who might think I'm a bit like cringe or think I'm like, I say too much. And there will be people like that, of course. But do I let that stop me from doing my thing? No, because someone's always going to think something. So I think
it's not like, that person's life.
No, exactly. And I really do think, like, in being like sitting right with yourself is so important. And like, I don't know if I worded that right, but yeah, just kind of being all right with who you are and how you live your life at the end of every night and at the end of your life and all of that stuff, like, that matters more than people's opinions, which will come and go. So I just feel like, have that in yourself of like, kind of, just that you actually, your opinion is enough, your permission is enough, your validation is enough. You don't have to make everyone proud, like, you don't have to do all of that stuff.
And it's so like, weird, isn't it, because we're so built on, we're only something when we've done something successful, when we've actually like achieved something. You know, we sort of match up success with having done that, and knowing that it's okay to like not to have to do something for that person just to get approval, because they'll have a knock-on effect and then they'll expect something else, and then if it's not that, it's something else, and before you know it, you spend your whole life just trying to please.
Exactly. You know, I'm definitely
who aren't thinking about your happiness.
Exactly. I'm really not a people pleaser, and like, not in the way of I don't want to make people happy and feel good, because I do, but I wouldn't put, like, it's okay to prioritize yourself and to like please yourself, like, because you really can't please everybody else all the time. So I just don't think there's much point like even trying. And not everyone's going to approve, but what are they going to do about it, really? I mean, and as long as I don't, like I said, I don't, if anyone's in a situation where it's not safe for them to like express themselves, then don't in that way if you can't. But like, once you can put space between you and somebody, know that you can cut people off and you can have boundaries, and you can, like, you know, I did it, and it's important to remember as well, like, important things like that, like cutting off somebody out of a family member. I've cut off multiple family members, and it doesn't come without backlash. You know what I mean? I've had all my life of it's been over 20 years since I did that, and there was other family members I cut out at the same time from my dad's family, and there's always been backlash. There's always been like people trying to, like, you know what I mean, say things, or, oh, you know, just it's your family, or give them a chat, whatever, blah blah, like, you know. And it's just like, it's a no from me, and I've never wavered in that, because I know that's right for me. And just, it's okay to ruffle feathers. Like, that's how it, because it has ruffled feathers. You know, I'm the black sheep of the family, and it's fine. But I'm the happy sheep of the family. Because of it. So it's like, you know, it's good to protect your, it's good to protect your energy and look after yourself in that way, because no one else can do that for you. And it's your job to look after yourself in this life. That's how I feel. Like, it's your job to protect yourself and look after yourself. So no one else can do that. And you've got to make those hard decisions sometimes. No one else, no, people aren't going to go, oh, you know what, I'm bad for you, I'm going to leave your life. That doesn't happen. You have to.
Would you say then that, you know, sort of the growth and tools that you've given yourself, did they sort of have contributed to making you strong enough to be able to deal with situations like that?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think if you aren't working on yourself and you sort of, you know, allowing yourself to still be scared, or, you know, not feeling worth, or giving yourself self-care, you sort of put yourself in a more vulnerable sort of place to be able to deal with making a change like that. You know, so these little steps can build you to be the person who could be brave enough.
Exactly. And build yourself, just build yourself love. Like, honestly, like, it really is. And I feel like a bit of a broken record because I keep bringing it back to that. But it is at the base of how you treat yourself sets the tone for how you allow others to treat you, what you will tolerate, all of that stuff. So it really affects your relationships and family, romantic relationships, friendships. It affects everything. How
it all starts with you.
Exactly. So I think just pour as much into yourself, looking after yourself. And even within, if you're in a household where you can't like leave yet or whatever, but like just having as much of like just your own time, protect your own energy in that way and stuff, and just do things that bring you joy to get you through that kind of difficult time. And it won't always be like that. You won't always be hopefully in that toxic kind of situation. So it's about looking after yourself through the storm. So
I love that. You have like,
your storms don't last forever. Because nothing, no bad situation can go on forever.
I keep right motto all the way through this podcast for everything we've spoken about.
Well, everything I create is based off my real like things that I believed, and well, it's just all stuff that has gotten me through. Like, I've been creating to get me through, while I get other people through. Like, that's the thing, get myself through life while I get everyone else. Like, we're all, that's always been the aim. So it's stuff that resonates with me, and I know will resonate with other people. So that's why
honestly,
I do it.
It's truly useful. It's so unique, and you have forged a path that is unlike any other. And, you know, like we said, she has been doing this for years, and it's great that sort of this positivity, and, you know, you see the branding's very positive on stuff now, which is nice to see because we haven't seen that for a long time, you know, but that you paved the way there 100%.
Thank you.
And you know what? And it's so nice to see. You know, I hope this reaches everybody that it needs to reach.
Thank you. And you know what? Just on a last note there, like, when I was starting and stuff, there wasn't a path. Again, there wasn't, because there wasn't like, there wasn't anything like this. So I didn't have like someone else's footsteps to follow in, or someone I could look at's journey and be like, oh, I want to do that. I just kind of followed my heart and did what I could with what I had. And I think advice to anyone who wants to do something as well would just be like, just start with what you have and where you are, instead of always thinking one day I'll do that. Like, if I had thought that, maybe I would have never done it. Whereas starting a little bit, working it and getting slowly snowballed over years. It took a long time to get to like anywhere, like even to like printing my first batch t-shirts was years, because I couldn't afford to for a while. But I slowly did like one custom thing at a time. And then it's like, you know, I made a path, and it's like, it's about that kind of just starting is, well, you know, not starting is what holds so many people back from actually living their dreams.
I feel like everyone's always waiting for when they're ready or when they're
want all the ducks are in a row, and it's not that it doesn't happen.
It doesn't come.
Because life's never going to be perfect.
You've got the idea, make some footsteps.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good place to leave it, isn't it? Thank you for having me.
It's been such a nice morning. It's been lovely. Well, into afternoon.
Thank you for having me. And if anyone wants to see what I do, follow me. I'm at Keep It Bright everywhere, pretty much.